Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Accidents happen and we all get involved in accidents and we make mistakes. The same thing happens sometime during war times. It happened to each and every country on this planet that was involved in a war. More or less, the casualties, the unintended casualties, occurred, as I said, miscalculation, simply a wrong coincidence, and in this case we have the Ukrainian army and its war against Russian army. It seems like they killed their own people, but not the people as the Russian are usually doing, according to the Ukrainian reports, which is civilians, but their own POWs. So let's see, this article is from Ukrainska Pravda from today, Friday, 29th of July 2022. And this is the title: Russians announce 53 Ukrainian prisoners dead. Ukrainian Ministry of Defense Intelligence says Russia is responsible. I don't know how that would be really them responsible, but we'll wait for them to make their point, right? And hear their arguments. That's how it happens. Now it says here that I have another article from Associated Press. Russia says shelling killed dozens of Ukrainian POWs. This is from Associated Press. It's the same basically information. And let me go to the Ukrainska Pravda first and see what they bring on the table. It says here that on the morning of the 29th of July, Russian aligned propaganda media announced that the shelling of a penal colony on Olenivka, Donetsk Oblast, where Ukrainian prisoners are being held. Ukrainska Pravda sources note that the blow to the Ukrainians was struck by Russia. All right, let's see how that happened. Russian media, Ukrainska Pravda, that's the source of the intelligence and law enforcement agencies. This is the source. Russian propagandist media are claiming that allegedly, I'm quoting, the armed forces of Ukraine targeted the barracks where captured Ukrainian soldiers are being held, end quote. Kremlin-aligned Russian media outlet RIA Novosti, with reference to militants' writes that the number of those killed has increased to 53, with another 75 injured. The Russians write that the armed forces of Ukraine hit the colony to kill prisoners who had, quote-unquote, begun to testify, end quote. What exactly that testimony is about is unknown. I'll tell you. Ukrainska Pravda sources in the intelligence services reported that Russia's artillery strikes were recorded towards Olenivka. The attack was carried out by Russians. Another source said that the other day the Ukrainian prisoner had been transferred to the industrial zone, namely to this very barracks which were hit on the 29th of July. Their direct speech, and I'm quoting, it's not double speech, it's not new speech, it's direct speech. That's a new term, I guess. These were the barracks where the Azov fighters were. They were transferred to it a few days before the shelling. We cannot understand why. So, let's go to the other one on Associated Press and see if they have anything extraordinary to report, right? It says that Russian-backed separatists said Friday that a Ukrainian attack with US-supplied missiles on a separatist eastern region hit a prison and killed 53 Ukrainian prisoners of war who were captured in Mariupol. There was no immediate confirmation of the attack from Ukraine. The attack with HIMARS, multiple rocket launches on the prison of Olenivka in the Russian-controlled Donetsk region, also injured 75 Ukrainian POWs, says Russia's Defense Ministry spokesman Lieutenant General Igor Konashenkov. Speaking before the latest update from the separatists, he put the death toll at 40. He says that Konashenko described the strike as a bloody provocation aimed at discouraging Ukrainian soldiers from surrendering. They already surrendered, didn't they surrender? He said that 8 prisoner guards were also wounded by the shelling. The attack could not be independently verified, and officials from Ukraine have not yet commented. They already did. That's the other article. So what we have here is some people certainly were blown up by some shelling. The Ukrainians are claiming that the Russians did it on their own territory, which would be obviously try to create a false narrative. As let's see it from this side, all right, from the Ukrainian side. So the Russians want to create a false narrative that we, the Ukrainians, just destroyed our own people because we are bad and because we didn't want them to speak. That will be their reaction, and they try to blame it on us, but we didn't do it. Now the other side is, oh, these guys just destroyed it because they didn't want to have their prisoners speak to us and give us information, and now they will deny. All right, these are the two sides. What do we think about it? I'm going to go like this. If I am to believe what the Ukrainians said, that the Russians hit their own thing, then I would accept this piece of information that the Russians provided when they said that actually the Ukrainians hit some of their targets within Ukraine. Like that train station, remember? The train station that they blamed on the Russians, and the Russians, it was not us, it was them. And they said, look, these are Ukrainian rockets, is not Russian rockets, which, you can get some if you want, but that's a different story. So if we are to accept the Ukrainian side that the Russians did that to point the fingers at Ukrainians, then we should pull that little folder out again and look at that incident. And I remember just like this from the top of my head. But there are some others when the Ukrainians blown up some targets and the Russians said it was not us. Another one, if you remember, was the massacre from Bucha, that little neighborhood or located by Kiev. The Russians said it was not us, it was they did it, the Ukrainians did it. And the Ukrainians, no, it was not us, it was you. So if we are to accept that it could be, a staged incident on this side, then as human beings who we're not that limited to say good and bad, we can accept it in this kind of circumstances. The other one side could have done it, in the same way. So the fact right now is that those guys who were in Russian custody were blown up. Now, did they already, sang everything that they knew? They were Azov Battalion or the ones from Mariupol, from Azovstal steel plant. Those were the ones. But they were held here. The most important ones were taken to Russia, maybe for this kind of reason, among others. So I don't think these guys, after 2 months of staying over there, they have anything else to say. But the fact is that they were blown up. And why would the Russians blow them up? As I said, just to blame those guys. But otherwise, I don't think they have anything else from those guys. So I don't know who did it. We're going to find out never. It depends who wins this thing and what happens after that. And we're probably going to have always 2 different opposing positions. This guy's going to say, no, you did it, guys say, you did. And even if the third party would come and say, no, you did it, or who did it, it's going to be three sides. And who are you going to believe, and how can you believe something that is told by people with interest? And they all have agendas and interest. This is the news with these guys. Sorry for them. You know what's strange? It just occurred to me. How come the Russians hit that exact target when the Russians are so bad at hitting targets? You remember they have 75% no accuracy, according to the Ukrainians. They said that 75% of their projectiles don't hit the targets. But on this specific one, the Russians were A-OK. They right there, pinpointed. They just moved the people from point A to point B, and right there, man, they hit it straight there. So again, it's even 25% accuracy. That's it, or it's are good the Russians or are bad. You can't, or good and bad. I think the good and bad, but like 25% and here you just pinpointed. Well, make up your story better a little bit. It kind of contradicts your statistics. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.